Well, good morning to what is an obnoxiously early morning, as we arrived extra early to have just a brief minute of peace and quiet before the chaos ensues, as today we are tackling the number one problem preventing us from moving in. We're dealing with the massive logistical problem today of not having enough space. It's the trouble of working on small terraces. And it might be that we have to remove our kitchen today. I think we'll put it back, but at least for now it has to be removed. Well, it's official after, 2 years, I think, of using this kitchen every single day to make coffee. We're officially, potentially retiring it. Hopefully not permanently. I'd like to set it up later on, but I don't know. Once we rip it out of the ground, it might not go back together.
What about coffee?
I know. Andrea has not thought this through. He wants more space, but when he realizes that there's no coffee mid-morning, it's not going to be a pretty sight.
Closer to where our outdoor kitchen's gonna be, isn't it?
No, we'll just use this. It's fine. So, doing too many things at once today, but we're mixing up a really dry load of cement, concrete, more actually mortar than anything. Should be wearing a mask.
Yeah, you should.
But it's helpful to only pour half of it in, dump the rest on the ground, and be able to shovel it into the back of the mixer. Otherwise, when it's mixing this dry, it just doesn't mix very well.
Because the chaos is a little bit hard for me to handle, but it's actually a lot of fun. I'm trying to help out as much as I can.
You're helping with filming. That's what I need help with today.
That's basically it. I'm not as good at that as Bradey is, so hopefully it's going to turn out all right. But there's a lot happening here this morning, and I'm really afraid I'm going to get squished by the excavator.
You'll be fine.
Think I'm going to be fine? Okay.
Visto la multa qua è questa?
Sì. Dimmi.
C'è un'altra, questo c'è il grumuli.
Ok.
Devi lasciarlo giù la bitumiera.
Ok.
Se no, visto questo qua non c'è dentro niente?
Sì, sì, sì. Maestro!
Ciao!
No, è vero!
È la matta, devi imparare bene a fare sulla matta!
c'è zucchero. Non c'è zucchero.
Fa niente.
No, fa niente. Serve.
100 euro qua.
To be honest, working on such a small terrace has been a little bit of an annoyance on days like today as we're moving stones back and forth, trying to figure out a place to place everything and also get the job done that we need to get done. Today we have to dig for our sewer line and also add in water and electric and a few other things down here, and these stones are just getting in the way. So behind me here, Andrea is pulling back the dirt, and unfortunately that dirt is holding up the dry stack stone wall behind it. So we're kind of digging underneath that stone wall just a little bit. Then we're gonna backfill it with stone to make sure that, well, it doesn't fall down. We're not entirely sure if this is the right decision here, but we just need a place to temporarily put these stones before we use them. We need all of these stones for future projects. This is not wasted material. But it's just that they're in the way for the project that we need immediately now. See, the biggest thing that's been holding us up from being able to finish up the last bits of plumbing and electrical work and to be able to honestly move into the house is to dig our sewer lines, as well as a little bit else with the gas line, electrical, and water a little bit. So these stones will be temporarily placed here to kind of hold up this wall as we've kind of dug out the support of that dry stack stone wall right here. But this wall right here is resting on the mountain, so it's well enough supported, and then there's mountain right around here somewhere. And then once we remove these stones to use them, then we'll come back and underpin this stone wall to make it look like the rest of them. This also means that we should be able to finally permanently remove all of the stones from this beautiful space that we've been working on for so long. And once we get them over there, out of the way, they can live there for as long as they need to live there without messing up any of the work that we're doing here. Well, we cleared this space just in time to fill it up with sand. We need the sand.
In giro una scalittina, qualcosa te?
Non so se c'è 10, ma c'è con...
No, è venuto su con questo. Ah, gli fai così te? Sì. Era per non... Buona, adesso fai un segno qua.
So I feel a little bit like an excavator today, like I'm digging for fossils or something.
You're the human excavator.
Yeah. This whole thing, honestly, is just a disaster in terms of how many tubes and pipes we have. We have got so many water lines and gas lines and electrical currents and these orange tubes, which are super crazy fragile. And we had to excavate it all because we covered it all, because obviously the excavator has been going back and forth. So we layered sand over everything, then covered it in a layer of concrete. And now we kind of dug back to reveal the orange pipe, which is what we needed to cover and access. But but in the process, we accidentally broke one of our gas lines. No one's fault, that's just part of the process, and it's because we had to do this whole thing in 2 phases. We couldn't do everything in one go, which is the proper way of doing it, but because of the space. So now I'm trying to carefully chip back the cement in order to change out this gas line.
And try not to break anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Really quick, just taking a quick break to remind you about the importance of protecting your personal data while online, and to tell you about today's video sponsor, Delete Me. If you aren't aware, Delete Me are the privacy experts that we entrust to go out there, scour the internet, find our personal information that has been leaked around the internet, and to have that information removed on our behalf. As you are well aware, it's far too easy these days to have your personal information gathered up, packaged up even by data brokers, and have that information sold off to the highest bidder and whoever might want it. These data brokers gather all kinds of information, things like your personal phone number, your email address, your personal home address, and even social security numbers. And then they package up all of this information to sell to advertisers or whoever might want it, including scammers. When you first sign up for Delete Me, you'll get a privacy report within the first 7 days showing where all of your information is kept public, and then their privacy experts will go ahead and have that removed. That first privacy report that you get is a little bit scary and daunting with all of the listings that are out there, but there is a peace of mind that comes with seeing all of that information slowly removed and every new privacy report having less and less information public. Right now, if you also want to join Delete Me, you can go to joindeleteme.com/Voyagers to get 20% off, or simply scan the QR code on screen, or use the coupon code Voyagers at checkout. But with that, thank you so much to Delete Me for sponsoring today's video. If I'm being honest, this is beyond brutal work and not able to film too terribly much, but allow me to catch you up to speed for what we've accomplished so far. We finally have fixed up all of this mess here, bringing all of the different tubes from inside of the house into the main sewer line. And then we have run our gas and electric and water, as well as the sewer, all down this line here. The reason why is because, one, the sewer has to run this direction, but the reason why we're bringing gas and electric and water this way is because right in this area, right in front of the fountain here, we're gonna end up building an outdoor kitchen right along here. So this, of course, is our one and only chance to be able to bring water and electric and gas to this spot and be able to bury it underground properly and make it look nice. And while it is a lot of work and it's brutal work, it's better to do these things now right away so that you have the opportunity to do more projects in the future. And in fact, there's one more thing that I'd like to do, and this is probably years in advance, and I need to run the tubes now, but we're tired. It's a shame that we had everything cleaned up so nicely and looking rather nice, and then we destroyed it all. But it's all part of the process. We have to make sure we get all the right tubes and lines in place, and then everything has to be covered in sand to protect it, because this earth obviously is just littered with stones, and if you let a stone rest on the tube and then drive over it, it'll puncture the tube and then you'll have a water leak. Well, I can safely say that that was my most difficult day of this entire renovation process. I don't know if I didn't eat enough, didn't sleep enough, or what, but allow me to show you where we're leaving things off today, and then we will finish up tomorrow morning. Well, this is just a mess of tubes. So you can see this branch off that goes over to here. Well, this is for the outdoor kitchen. So we have gas, electric, sewer, water, everything that you need there. Then we've extended everything down this terrace as well, which we've managed to fill in with sand and then cover up with the dirt. This dirt was very kind to us. Not many stones to pick out, because again, you cannot have a single stone touching any tube or it will break that tube. We got all the way to this point and then we've run out of sand, so we need to cover up these tubes tomorrow. And the reason why we've brought all of this over here, the electric, the gas, the water in this corner of the property, well, I almost told you, but I'm not going to, because that's a surprise for someday much further in the future. We do need a couple more loads of sand to be able to fill in and cover these guys up, but we managed to cover up all of the orange tubes in concrete, which is super important because sand is not enough to cover and protect those tubes. That was an unbelievably brutal way to start the day. I didn't expect to have to shovel and carry all of the sand by hand. When we did the first half of all of the sewer lines and gas lines and electrical, he was able to carry all of that sand using the excavator, but since we've taken up so much room with the stones and for other reasons, we just weren't able to access it with the excavator. So all of the pipes had to be covered by hand. But now that we've created a nice path, hopefully for the rest of the area, we should be able to use the excavator. Vai, via questo! Otro! Bravo! Hey, sorry about that. So we've abandoned digging for the sewer line as his tracks have come off, and that's why he was kind of driving on one leg there. So he's got very limited mobility currently. We're gonna finish off another hour with him stationary here via digging for our propane tank, and then over lunchtime we'll see if we can fix his excavator. All right, it's time to bring over the propane tank, and this thing is heavy. This thing is at the limits, a little bit beyond the limits of what his excavator is meant to be carrying. He's actually gone ahead and removed the bucket from the excavator just to lose a little bit of weight. We're gonna see if we can hook up to the propane tank and carry it over. All right, well, the stressful part is over. The tank is in the ground. We just need to fill it up properly, as there's a lot of rules involved with burying propane tanks. You need to have wires buried so deep into the ground for grounding. You need to cover it all in sand, and just trying to make sure we do everything properly. Più basso di possibile, certo, ma per me penso non posso perché questo tubo è qui. È 8. Buono. It is truly wild how we have transformed this terrace, and there's still more to come, but to see how much space we now have, and of course once we have a beautiful fence here, and once we finish up these stones, now we'll have so much more space on that side of the terrace as well.
It's so big.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than it was before.
A lot of space.
It's completely changed.
Wow.
Is that enough space to play, girls?
Yes.
So this right here is the access point for the outdoor kitchen.
Yep.
Obviously we need to clean this area up a little bit, but I still have a tube missing right here. Then once that's put in, we can clean that up a little bit. Once the stones are all finished, you can see the old wall. That's going to be the new point of the terrace, which that extra little digging work we did nearly, I mean, it almost doubled the amount of usable space. The thought here is everything behind me will turn to grass, aside from some stepping stones to get back there. And then the area in front of the fireplace will be primarily a stone patio, but then there'll be a lot of like flagstones with grass growing in between them. So we're going to bring back a lot of that greenery. But unfortunately, that's the very, very last thing. You make sure that you're finished with everything else before you bring in grass and flagstone. We stashed the propane tank as far away as possible.
Yeah.
And then we've got 3 access points here for electric, water, and gas
Perfect.
for that special project right here.
I can't wait to get to those kind of projects.
For now will be a secret.
Yeah.
This special project.
For mommy.
I didn't hardly film any of this because we didn't have time, and this room is now completely finished. Walls, ceiling. It looks splotchy because it needs to dry, and then obviously we'll paint, but it's, again, too dark to show, but all around the windows did an excellent job. And what he said, did a fantastic job on this floor. We are ready for tile. Yay! Well, that was a beyond chaotic couple of days, but to get through the most important thing that has been holding us back from moving forward and moving in feels really good. We couldn't move forward and finish up the final electric and the final plumbing without doing the work that we've just done. And now that that's finished, I need to get the plumber on the schedule and hook everything up and get things finished, because it's time to sprint to the finish line and get moved in. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.